What's up, YouTube? It's me, Steve, Negative in Studio, and I don't have a deck for you today. I'm sorry, but in my place, my friend Syfy, he's got a deck. It's pretty good.
What's up, YouTube? Syfy from Negative in Studio, bringing you an Evol deck profile. So let's just get started. So right off the bat, we run 3 Evol Westlow. He is the main engine of the deck. His effect is really good. Flip, special summon 1 Evol from your deck. Simple as that. We'll talk about the Evol monsters as we go through, but yeah, he's really key. You need to run him at 3. It's just a staple. Also a staple is Yugioh. You have to run 3 of him. His effect is when he is tributed, you can special summon 1 Evol from your deck. So basically, you can do this with higher level Evol or with Evil Force. Evil Force is definitely suggested, but you could definitely tribute it as well. Also, 2000 not beat stick, defense. That keep you alive for a while. So that's it for the Evol tiles. You only need 6. All the other ones are pretty bad. So let's just move on to the Evol 2 Serato. He is the main beat stick, 1900 attack, and if he's special summoned by the effect of an Evol tile, gets boosted up to 2100 and gets the effect that when this card destroys a monster by battle, you can add 1 Evol tile from your deck to your hand. So really good effect. If you don't want to exceed right away, add another card. The main phase 2 maybe go for a rank 4 exceed, and you only need 2. 3 is an overkill, and 1 is not enough. That's actually the trend with all the Evol You need 2. 3 is just too many, because you don't want them to clog your hand. And next we have 2 Volcano. His effect is when he's special summoned by the effect of an Evol tile, special summon 1 Evol from the graveyard. So instant rank 4. Then we have 2 Diplo. His effect, when he's special summoned by the effect of an Evol tile, destroy 1 set card on the field. Back row hate. You need it these days with a lot of cards being set. And that's where a lot of the common aspect of this deck ends with a lot of the other people, especially on YouTube with all the other deck profiles. They just run the level 4s. But I tend to also run 2 more. The first one being Darwino. He's level 5. His effect is that when he is special summoned, target 1 card, target 1 monster, increase its level by up to 2. So you could go for a level 5, a rank 5 exceed, level 6, rank 6, or rank 7. It's very versatile, and again, you can use him to tribute Yugioh and summon him and get another one out from the deck. So it makes it that you don't have to rely on Evil Force for Yugioh to work, which is pretty handy. And then the last one, Alias. He is also a good card because when he's special summoned, you can special summon 1 Evol from your hand. So he'll get rid of the dead cards in your hand. Like if you have another one in your hand, you can special summon 1 of them from your deck using, like, I don't know, not Yugioh, Westlow, and yeah, and then go for rank 6. Another thing that I wanted to point out now before I move on about Darwino, if you special summon him with the effect of Westlow, and you use his effect to increase Westlow by 2, that's an instant rank 5. So that's another nice thing about him. And the last monster, this is literally like a personal tech. No one should run him if you don't want to, but I do it just because they're all fire. Pyrex. I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun. It's just fun to have him. I do get him out a lot because you have control over your graveyard, and I run Daigusto Emerald, so it's possible, but you don't have to. Literally a tech.
So you don't run Bacon Saber?
Sir, this is not a zombie deck.
Bacon Saber's great though.
Perhaps. For another time. So that's it for the monsters. Moving on to spells. We have Stables, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. I think they're all 3 of them are still stables. A lot of people aren't running Dark Hole. I mean, but still, come on. It's good. 2 MSTs. More back row hate. Gotta get rid of them. All those bottomlesses and deep prisons and compulses. Just so annoying. Even if it's a blind MST, you'll hit something good most of the time. So that's it for the stables, and then now we move on to the Evo cards. 3 diversity. So crucial. It's add 1 Evol and Evol tile monster from your deck to your hand, which is probably going to be, an Evol tile. Most of the time, you rarely ever want to add Evol to your hand, but it is limited to the fact that you can only use once per turn. So it's a really balanced card, and it's just really good. Next, the 3 Evil Force. Tribute 1 Evil Tile, special summon and 1 Evil Sword, and treat it as if it was summoned, special summoned by the effect of an Evil Tile. So really good. You can ditch your Nozasho, special summon 2 Evil Swords from the deck, get both of their effects off, which is amazing. This card just does a lot of work for this deck. And the last 2 cards, again, is a personal choice for me in terms of spell. 2 Primordial Soup. Don't hate me for this. Like this, I understand that this is like a -1 from the get-go because you're playing it, and then you lose a card basically, unless you can ditch 2 Evil Swords to draw 2 cards. But it's useful because with the amount of Evil Swords that I'm running, they do tend to get really cloggy, and it's just nice to ditch them to draw 2 cards and get their effects off from their deck. You can run Duality if you want. I've tried. It works, but I don't like it because you can't special summon, and this deck relies heavily on that, especially if you have an Azasho and Evil Force in hand. Like, if you draw into that with Pot Duality, you're not going to be able to do anything that turn. So this is my personal choice, but you can easily replace this with, I don't know, Forbidden Lance, Pot of Duality, or anything you want. So that's it for the spells. Moving on to traps. Staples for me, Solemn Judgment and Warning. It just, come on, negate summon, negate almost anything. I think those are pretty good. And then I run 2 Mirror Force. A lot of people say this card is bad because you can't chain it to anything. If they MS to your Mirror Force, what are you going to do? You can't just be like, oh, I chain. But still, it's good. I really like it. I've always had Mirror Force in my deck, so I'm going to keep that trend going. But again, if you don't like it, you can replace it. I mean, on to the traps. These are my personal choice for the traps. There aren't Evo-specific traps. 2 Bottomless, I think, are staples. Come on. No need to explain. Deep Prison, again, staples. And finally, 2 Compulse. Really nothing to say about the traps. They're just staples. You can replace them with, I don't know, anything you want if you don't like any of the traps that I showed you. But yeah, that's the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck now. I play 1 Wind-Up Zen mains because a lot of times you will have like a Westlow just laying around, in defense position that you can just overlay for Wind-Up Zen mains. So just one of those. Now let's go to the fun part, all the rank 4s. 2 Lagia. 3 is way too many. 1 is not enough. 2 just, it's like if you lose 1, you have 1 to fall back on. But you will never need 3. Like, I ran 3 at one point, it was just such a waste of space. And the same goes for Yugioh. Yeah, you know what they do. And then for the rest of them, it's just my personal choice for the rank 4. I do not own Gaga Cowboy or Black Ship at the moment. They're like $25. Definitely, like, if you have them, run them. But these are the rank 4s that I'm running. 1 Maystroke, Utopia, Abyss Dweller, Steelstorm Roach, Daigusto Emerald. I run him because I don't run Pot of Avarice. I found that you don't really need Pot of Avarice in the deck. You don't run that many monsters, and it just, if you're going to late game with this deck, you're not gonna have a good time. But if you actually need to get like some cards back, this just does the job as well. And then 1 Shockmaster, because it's Shockmaster, and it's very easy to get 3 level 4s on the field. That's it for level rank 4s. I have 2 rank 5s, Adrius and Tyrus. I think they're really good, especially with the fact that you can go into them so easily. Like going into Tyrus on your like first turn, if your opponent went first, and if you get this guy out, it does so much work. And Adrius, just pop things. And I run 2 rank 6, 1 Solda, and Photon Strike Bouncer. Solda because you can, and he's really good. Can't be destroyed by effects. And yeah, detach 1 to negate, or not negate a summon, to destroy when a monster is summoned. Photon Strike Bouncer, you know what it does, negates effects. Just really good. And yeah, that's it for the extra deck. The thing is, I plan on running 2 rank 7s as well because you can go into them, and those would include number 11 Big Eye and Draco Sack. But as well, like, you all know how expensive those cards are right now, and I'm not going to spend $150 on 1 card at this moment. And it's not necessary for this deck, it's just something you can go into. So, yeah, I mean, if you have it, go for it. If not, this works out just as well. And side deck. I'm on the same boat as Steve on this one. Side deck is on you. Like really, like side deck varies so much depending on the meta, your locals, tournaments. It all depends on what you think you're gonna face. Like right now with like all the dragons and prophecies or whatever, you know where you got to side in for those.
Dragon capture job.
Yeah, like that ever works. And yeah, so the meta will change, your side will change. So I'm not gonna bother with that. So yeah, that's it for this deck. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment. We definitely would like some feedback. I know this deck is not perfect at all. I just started playing with this a few months ago, so I have some experience with it, but not a lot. So if you guys could leave some feedback, that would be great. And yeah, subscribe. We release videos every Wednesday. And yeah, Syfy from Negative Studio out.